Hey there, welcome back. Tony Caliendo with Rethink Coaching. And I really want to take a moment today. I know we had our first module yesterday, yet I really want to take a moment the fact that you're here. Honor the fact that you're trusting the process to be here. So it takes courage to invest in yourself, to invest in a new direction or a new career in your life, where you're moving at a pace that maybe you're not familiar with at all, yet in your heart, you know it's what you really want to do. There's one of my favorite sayings in the world, and I think it's appropriate for where we are right now in this program, is take the leap and the net will appear by John Burroughs. And in my mind, all that means is just believe in yourself. Take the leap of faith into the real estate industry, and the net will appear to catch you. We are your net. I just want you to think about it like that. Right now, everything that we introduce to you is probably going to feel foreign and new, and that's okay. It's going to create a level of discomfort or uncomfort, which simply means you're growing. And so go ahead and take the leap. I promise you, we're your net. We're going to catch you. We're going to be there to provide the information you need to move forward in your real estate business and to build something that's sustainable and will carry you through as long as you choose to engage in this business. So it's an amazing place to be. So welcome back, and thank you for taking that trust in us and investing in your business and yourself. I do want to talk about, one second here, sorry. I do want to talk about one of the most important things, which is the foundation of your career, and that's lead generation. It's really that simple. In real estate, it's not get your license and they will come. You remember, for some of you, a very old movie, you Field of Dreams, build it and they will come. It's really the same thing. Lead generation is what will drive your business. Some say you're not in the real estate business, you're in the lead generation business. And I think that's really important for us to reflect on right now. If you got your real estate license in hopes that you're just going to make an announcement to the world that you're an agent and people are just going to show up to work with you, I don't mean to disappoint you, yet that's not typically how it works. You know, we're not opening up a store like a Target where we carry items that somebody needs and they're going to be compelled to walk in and purchase. We're going to have to generate that hype around why people would want to work with us. So lead generation is your number one thing, and it doesn't have to be scary, and you're not going to be forced to do it a specific way. I just want to make sure you understand that as we move forward. You will never be told you have to do lead generation in this manner. And you will learn as we move forward. There are some areas that we highly encourage. Yet again, you're a business owner. You get to choose what you want to do to build your business. Lead generation cannot be, oh, I did a little bit one day, got a client and stopped doing it. It needs to be consistent. So I have the privilege of coaching clients that earn over 7 figures every year in real estate. And a lot of people ask me, a lot of new agents or agents that are looking to grow their income or grow their business will ask me, what's the difference between me and them? What are they doing that I could or should be doing that I'm not? And my answer is usually very simple. They're consistent in the one activity of lead generation. That's it. That consistency, that behavior where you're moving forward day after day after day is the thing that's going to drive you to having a sustainable business. Successful agents show us that their most important activity is just that. It's non-negotiable. It's consistent, and they protect that time. So they place that time on their schedule and they do not let anything interfere with it, because honestly, no business is as important as your future business. And that's what lead generation is. It's creating the space for your future business. The impact of lead generation, my goodness, what you do today in real estate will impact you most likely in 60 to 90 days. So here's what I want you to think about. A lot of times when we're doing our lead generation, or you're looking for someone who's ready to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, we're so anxious and so excited about finding the right now person that we don't realize that if I find somebody today, so let's just say I identified a buyer today who is ready, willing, and able to move forward, meaning they've got their pre-approval, they've spoken to the lender, they know what their budget is, they know exactly where they want to be. We are at best 45 to 60 days away from that person closing. That's the average. Usually it's 60 to 90 days. The impact of what you do today affects you in 60 to 90 days. So I just want you to think about that. That's why it's important. And we're addressing this on your second day. that you get into lead generation immediately. Remember, the net will appear. That's us. Trust in the process. You're going to be okay, because what you do today will most likely impact you 60 to 90 days from now. So we've got to get started. We've got to get started, because I know most of us are looking to make some income in the very near future. And if we know what we do today is going to impact us in 60 to 90 days, we have to get started today. So there's all kinds of proactive lead generation, and I want to talk about that. In life, there's proactive and then there's passive. Proactive means you can take action and do something that generates the result. In this case, a lead or even a nurture. So some ways that you can do that. You're going to see a lot of acronyms: SOI, sphere of influence, not spear, sphere of influence. Your database, it's people that you know. FSBO, for sale by owner, or expired, means somebody listed their house with an agent. It went on the market into MLS for an agreed upon period of time, and the house did not sell during that time. So it's expired in MLS, meaning it's no longer active for sale in the MLS. Open houses, great way to meet buyers and sellers if you do it correctly. So you're just hosting a house open for the general public to come during a period of time to take a look at the house, and quite frankly, for you to meet them and see if we can't secure a way for you to work with them. Door knocking, it's exactly what it sounds like. You go up to a door and you knock and you introduce yourself, and you'll bring an item of value with you, or you'll have a reason for knocking on that person's door. I will tell you, with today's technology, door knocking is really powerful because most people have a form of electronic doorbell where when somebody walks up to the door, they're alerted somebody's at their door, and they can choose to communicate with that person from wherever they are, whether if they're at work, they might be sitting in their living room and just don't want to get up and answer the door. They could be on vacation. So door knocking is really just going to a specific area, knocking on the door, introducing yourself, bringing an item of value with you with the intention of meeting a homeowner who's thinking about selling their house or knows somebody who is. Circle prospecting. So some people talk about circle prospecting and geofarming and get the two confused. Circle prospecting, so let's just say I took a listing at 123 Main Street in Thousand Oaks subdivision, and I want to circle prospect around that listing. All I'm doing is calling the homes that are around that listing that I just took in Thousand Oaks, and I'm letting the rest of the homeowners in that area know that the house is available for sale, and I'm there to help them anyway. You might also circle prospect. So let's say I have a buyer who's looking to buy in Harvey Oaks, and I don't have a listing in Harvey Oaks, and the listings that are available in Harvey Oaks just don't meet this particular client's needs. I might circle prospect in Harvey Oaks to find a home that would work for my buyer client, and work with those people that are saying, hey, you know what, I am thinking about selling. Great. I may have a buyer that could be interested in your house. So that's circle prospecting. Geofarming is really a lot what it sounds like. You're farming a specific area, meaning let's just say I live in Harvey Oaks, and I want to make that the area that I'm going to sell in consistently. So I will geofarm that area, meaning I will pick that subdivision and I will have a planned activity that repeats monthly, that I show up in that area and do something to that geographical farm that gets me in place to help somebody who's thinking about selling their house. That's really what geofarming does. BNI is business networking, and there is an official BNI organization where a group of business professionals get together monthly and they discuss what they're doing, and they lean into helping each other by giving referrals. So there might be a lawyer, there might be a title person, there is a lender, there's a realtor, there's a there's a home inspector, there's a AV audio equipment person that all get together with the intention of sharing what they do for a living, networking with each other, and supporting each other's business. Professional associations are just that. You might be a member of a local professional association in your area. So Knights of Columbus or YMCA or, Boys and Girls Club. That's a professional association that you might be part of, that you're going to use as a way to network and to meet people, to lead generate. Hobbies. Gosh, if you've got a great hobby, could be golf, it could be car collecting, it could be coin collecting, it could be a lot of different things that you do for a hobby. It's a great way to meet other people with similar interest that you could network with and lead generate to make sure that they understand you're a real estate agent and you're asking for their help in finding someone who's looking to sell, buy, or invest. And then there's other things like your church organization or private clubs that you might belong to is another great way to do proactive lead generation. So we're always looking for proactive lead generation. And I will tell you some things that people think are proactive lead generation really aren't. Posting a Facebook post, that's passive. You're hoping that somebody responds to it, right? You don't really have control over whether they do or not, versus if I knock on your door, leave a message, and I start to engage, that's more proactive. Buying leads, that's passive. You don't have control over what the company that I'm purchasing leads from does to generate a lead. I don't. So I'm being very passive in my reaction to a lead that I might get from Zillow or Realtor.com or any other lead service that I may purchase a lead from. So we want to focus on proactive lead generation because it's what you have control over. And it's the way that you can grow a consistent, steady business in your environment. So I want you to think about something. I always want us to talk about our lead generation funnels. And I want you to think about a funnel just like you're pouring into the top of the funnel, and out of the bottom of the funnel is going to come a lead or money, really. And that is your lead generation. So if we talk about proactive, I want you to think as if you had two rows of funnels, lead generation funnel. Level 1 or level A is where you're going to achieve about 80 to 85% of your business is going to come from this level. And I know I told you we wouldn't force you to do a specific type of lead generation, yet I will tell you what should be on your level A in one of your sources should be your database, your sphere of influence. And let me tell you why. On average, your database consists of anybody that you may have met or known in your past. So chances are you've got their name and phone number in your cell phone. You might have their information through Facebook or TikTok or Instagram. It's anybody that you have had interaction with in the past. Database stands to get the largest return on investment of your time in terms of leads. If you work your database correctly, you should be able to go to a 10 to a 16% return on database, meaning for every 100 people in your database, you could secure 10 to 16 leads per year. That's really powerful. Think about that. For every 100 people, 10 to 16 opportunities versus the haven't met or people you've never met before that you're going to do maybe like door knocking or circle prospecting or holding an open house. That ratio is significantly less. It's less than 5%. And so you've got to work harder, meet more people in order to get that funnel to turn on. But here's what I want you to think about, because you're thinking, well, why would I do anything other than just database, right? Let's just say you've got a database of about 350 people, and I'm choosing some other sources of proactive lead generation. So let's just say, for example, and this is how I grew my business, my proactive lead generation was database, open houses, and networking. I had a small database because of what I did previously, previous to real estate is hospitality industry. So most of my database was spread throughout the country. My local database was small. So I picked two other sources because I was looking for people who were looking to do something right now or raise their hand and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing it in the future. And I was able then to add them to my database through the lead generation. So let's just say I held an open house and 20 people came through the open house. 3 of them I had great conversation with that were, one was ready to buy right now. One was just starting their process. I would add them into my database. They would become part of the people that I know, as well as, let's say, the other 17 people. If I got them to register, I would probably put them into my database because I met them, had a conversation with them, and I would start dripping on them through my CRM, which we talked about before. So your level A, that is your highest producing activities. This is where you get to customize. I will say, you should always have database sphere of influence as one funnel. The other two are up to you. This is where you get to practice the art of real estate. So if you love face-to-face and do not enjoy working over the phone, then open houses, door knocking, networking, those are great face-to-face opportunities. If you don't mind doing stuff on the phone, then you could add circle prospecting, you could add calling for sale by owners or expireds. There's all different ways that you can do this. What I'm going to ask you to do is identify your 3, database, sphere of influence, and then whatever other 2 you choose that are proactive, and you commit to those for the next 90 days. There is a huge shiny object syndrome of being an agent, because you're going to be talking to other agents. They're going to tell you something that they did that generated a lead, and you're not, it's going to be maybe an activity that you're not doing. Your instinct is to hurry up and go do that activity because they had success. Keep in mind, they've probably done the activity for a little while and they're building their skill set in it, which allowed them to get a lead. It wasn't maybe the first call they made or the first door that they knocked on. Could be by luck. Usually it's because of time on task. So I'm just going to ask that you pick your top 3 today and you choose what they're going to be, because that's what we're going to commit to over the next 90 days. And you can work with your coach on saying, hey, here's my 3 sources. I'm 100% committed to taking those activities. Then I want you to think about picking 2 other proactive sources of lead gen that are going to get you the rest, maybe the 15 to 20% range of your leads that are going to come in, nurtures or people to add to your database. It could be something as simple as sign calls. It could be referrals from agents across the country. Remember, you're in this program with agents from all over the country. So we could put that in as one of your proactive sources, and just treating those people that you've met in this program as a potential lead source. Level B is probably going to get you 15 to 20%. They're not quite as robust as what you see on level A yet. I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. Please pick 2 and stay consistent with them for the next 90 days, because consistency and time on task is what's going to move you forward. I want you to think about this. There's 3 types of leads, right? The best one to get is the right now. I mean, it is the best feeling in the world when you're calling your database or you're holding that open house and somebody walks in, or somebody in your database says, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful you called today. We're listing our home, or I'm sorry, we're listing our house for sale today. Or that person that walked into the open house, we've got to buy a home in the next 60 days because they just got a new job relo. Those are right now leads. All right. That's somebody who's ready, willing, and able to do something in the next 30 days. If they are somebody who says, you know what, it's great, but I can't pull the trigger today, they're more of a lead. And lead and right now kind of fall into place together. A lead is somebody who says, yeah, I'm ready. I really do need to do something within 30 days. I've got a few weeks, but I'm going to do something within the next 30. So either list my house with you, or if we find the perfect home, I'll write a contract on it. And then a nurture is somebody who's raised their hand and said, I'm thinking about selling or I'm thinking about buying, but it's not going to be for a little while, 30 days or longer. So 30 to 60, 60 to 90, 90 plus. They're a nurture. There's somebody who said, I'm thinking about it, or I'm committed to doing it, just not doing it today. And I'm not doing it in the next 30 days. Those are really important type of leads for us to have, because what that's doing is allowing you to now follow up with people. So lead generation leads to lead follow-up opportunities, but you've got to identify what they are. Because I will tell you right now, and a lead that's going to do something within 30 days, I'm giving them a lot of attention. They're ready to go. I'm going to make sure that I'm ready to partner with them and that they commit to working with me, either through signing a listing agreement or signing a buyer representation, that they're committed to work with me. So those are our 3 types of leads. Here's what I want you to ask yourself, and this is really important. If this is your first career, second career, third career, does your database know that you're a real estate agent or a realtor? Do they know that? Because here's what's important. 66% of sellers and buyers found their agent through a neighbor, friend, or relative, or used an agent that they've used in the past. So what does that mean? 66 out of 100 people who are thinking about selling and or buying are going to ask their friends, who do you know? Who have you used? So if your database, let's just say everybody in your database knows your real estate agent, let's say majority of them are happy with where they are and they're not looking to do anything right now. You still want them to be able to say, oh my gosh, I know a great agent you need to call, Tony Caliendo. Let me get you their contact information and introduce the two of you. All right, that's the power of your database, knowing what you do. People want to refer someone they know. I mean, how many of us have been asked for help from somebody? Hey, do you know a good car wash? Do you know a good lawn service? Do you know a good housekeeping service? Who do you use for, painter? And if we've had a great experience or we know somebody that we want to support, we want to be able to refer to each other. So that's why it's really critical that our sphere of influence, our database, knows that you are a real estate agent, realtor, and that they understand that you're looking for their support to help you grow your business. This is not the time to be shy with the people that you know. There's a great way to systematically reach your database, and I'm going to share this with you. I'll have a link for you to this spreadsheet that you can refer to, but I want to talk to you about the importance of systematically staying in touch with your database. Because remember, 10 to 16%, so 10 to 16 people for every 100, if you communicate with your database effectively, could be contracts for you moving forward year after year after year. So as your database grows, so will that number. So if I take my database from 300, which would be 30 to 48 people, and I grew it to 500, now I've got 50 to 80 potential sales. So we want to be consistently nurturing and growing our database. That is the number one foundational piece that you can do for your business. So here's a really simple way to do this. What this does is it just really outlines for you the date and in quarter one, you're going to do this. In quarter two, you're going to do this. It just outlines. So let's take, for example, quarter two, where it says on April 2nd, you're going to call anybody whose last name begins with the letter A or W. So if my last name is Applegate and I'm in my database, they're going to give a phone call from me. If my last name is Wilmington, Wilmington's going to get a phone call from me. And then anybody with the letter R for the week of April 2nd is either going to get a text message or a handwritten note from me. When I follow this, it's broken down by quarter. When I follow this simple process, and we're looking to make it as simple as we can for you, I'm going to have reached my database 8 times in 1 year, because 4 phone calls, 4 text messages. So everybody who gets the text also gets a phone call every quarter. So that's 2 touches a quarter. There's 4 quarters in a year. That's 8 forms of communication with your database. That alone is pretty powerful. We're going to talk about growing your drip campaign a little bit in the future. But if you just do this one thing right now, take the time to call everybody in your database this first quarter, it's golden, and stay on track with that. So how do you communicate with your database? I know, trust me, I've heard this. We've all heard this before. I've got Tony's name, but I don't have his cell phone. Okay, great. So we can either call, text, or use social media. Because I've got the cell phone number or his or her home phone number, if somebody still has a landline, I can choose to make a phone call. If I know this person does not love to talk on the phone, I can choose to send a text message. Or if I don't have a phone that I know how to reach them, yet we're friends on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, whatever that is, I can reach out to them via social media. So I can send a private message, I can post on their wall. There's a lot of things that I can do to start the two-way conversation, to introduce myself and make sure my database knows that I am in real estate. I can do it by phone, text, social media. I can also do it in person, right? So if I happen to run into someone in person that's in my database, I'm going to take advantage to have a conversation with them. Hey, exchange niceties, you have a conversation, and listen, I just want to let you know that I am now selling real estate. If you are interested in selling, buying, or investing, or anybody you know, I'm going to just take that advantage of that face-to-face to make sure they know that I am in real estate. So lead generation can happen a lot of different ways. Remember, our goal is a two-way conversation. We've talked about this before. Just sending a text, hey, Tony, how you doing? That's not really two-way communication about real estate. You may not want to say, hey, Tony, how are you doing? Do you need to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? You may just want to start the conversation. Yet at some point in that text exchange, social media exchange, or telephone conversation, you definitely want to talk about selling, buying, or investing in real estate. So a lot of people are like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. And I laugh because they say the best script that you can use is just say hello and let the conversation go from there. However, if you would like a little bit more structure, I mean, the script can be as simple as this. Hello, it's Tony with Blank Brokerage. How are you? Right? Exchange some niceties for a moment and build some rapport. Can I ask for your help with something? 95% of the time, people are going to say, of course. I mean, if someone called you today and said, hey, I need your help, our natural instinct as human beings is to say, absolutely, what can I do for you? So we may just say, listen, can I ask for your help with something? I recently started my career in real estate and was curious. Are you or anyone you know considering selling, buying, or investing in real estate? It's that simple. You may choose to be a little bit more relationship based. So you have the conversation. Hey, it's Tony. I'm just calling to check in. How are you doing? You have the conversation. How's the family? How's the pet? How's the job? Whatever it is you want to go through, have that conversation and then just say, listen, I'm not sure if I've shared with you yet. However, I started my career in real estate and I'm looking to build my business through working with people that I already know. Do you know anyone who's thinking about selling, buying, or investing in real estate? Or are you thinking about it? It's that simple. We really want to work that into the conversation because if not, it's just a conversation like, oh, I had a great conversation with Tony. It's great to talk to him. It's not what we want. We want to be like, I had a great conversation with Tony. He reminded me he's in real estate or told me he's in real estate. If I think about somebody who's thinking about selling, buying, or investing, I'm going to think of Tony. That's the goal. So this is just a sample script. I'm not going to force you to say things verbatim, word for word, yet some people want a little bit more guidance on what they should say. So here's what I'm going to ask you. Take the leap and the net will appear. Do not panic. We're going to get to buyer scripts and seller scripts later. However, if in the process of calling your database to let them know that you're now selling real estate, somebody is actually interested in selling or buying, do not panic. This is why you've got your coach. This is why you're in the program. We'll help you with it until we get you to that place where we dive a little bit deeper in the scripts for selling and what a listing presentation looks like. Your coach is there to help you out. So if in that conversation, when you introduce yourself and say, yes, they say, yes, I am actually thinking about selling my home. Great. Are you thinking about selling or buying? So we're going to ask, because don't assume because somebody owns a house that they want to sell. They might want to buy an investment property. They might want to buy a condo for their kid. They might want to buy a one-level home for their aging parent. There's all kinds of reasons, so never assume. Great. Are you thinking of selling or buying? What's your timeline? Remember, are they a right now, a lead, or a nurture? Specifically, what will buying or selling this house or home do for you? You know what? Gosh, I'd be thrilled to apply for the job to help you sell or buy a house or a home. Would Thursday at 3 or Tuesday at 3 or Thursday at 5 work best for you? Or, hey, listen, let's compare schedules real quick. Tell me what you have open this week for us to get together for about an hour. Again, use the direction or use the verbiage that you're comfortable with. Set the appointment, get the appointment set. My gosh, what a great problem to have. I've got a listing appointment. I don't know what I'm doing. That's why you have your coach. If, in addition, let's just say, I'm thinking about doing something in about 90 days. Okay, great. Probably not going to set an appointment, although you could. You may just say, occasionally I send out information about real estate and I would like to add you to that list. Would that be okay? Because now you can start communicating with them more regularly. Or you could say, listen, I know you're not thinking about selling for 90 days. And actually that gives us a lot of time to prepare your house for the market. Could we set up a time for me to come over this week and walk through your house and we can make some recommendations as to what you can do to prepare your house to have its best foot forward when you're ready to list in the next 90 days. So there is a reason you could set an appointment for somebody who's thinking about doing something in the future, who's technically one of our nurtures. Here's the other thing I'm going to say. I want you to think about something. Think about what you hear when I say this. Home is where the heart is, right? Home, sweet home. When you're working with a buyer, you are after getting an emotional attachment to the houses that you're showing. So in your verbiage with buyer, you will always refer to it as a home. On the other end of it, when you're working with the seller, you want them to detach emotionally from their home, right? Home is where their heart is. This has been where, home sweet home. This is where they built memories, right? Most people who are selling, there's cases where they're wanting to be detached, yet most people, let's go ahead and start to get them detached and start referring to it as a house, not a home. So as we go through the scripts, you'll see I've identified house versus home. House is when you're dealing with a seller. Home is when you're dealing with a buyer. It makes a big difference. It's a little thing, makes a big difference. And you might mess up every once in a while. It's not the end of the world. In fact, I'll probably do that throughout this presentation, and it's okay. Just start training your brain right now. Seller's house, buyer's home. If they say yes and it's not for themselves, so, are you thinking about selling or buying or investing, or anybody that you know? If they say yes and it's, what, actually I do. My friend Jennifer at the office or church mentioned to me that she's excited. She's going to start looking for a new place to live. Okay, fantastic. So simply reply to them, fantastic. Can I ask a favor? Would you introduce them to me? If you could, let them know about me and then send a quick text to introduce us. This will allow me to have their contact information and I can reach out to them directly. Here's what you're after. You're after getting the referrals information, because a lot of times what will happen is somebody will say, oh my gosh, yeah, Jennifer, you need to use Tony. He's amazing. All right. And they give Jennifer my contact information. As humans, sometimes we're not ready to be vulnerable or talk to somebody yet, meaning somebody they don't know. So Jennifer may go searching on the internet, use one of the big companies to start looking for homes, which then she would click on something that would get her to an agent who's paying for an ad, and Jennifer never gets to you, right? Or Jennifer decides, hey, I'm going to go to some open houses to so I'm comfortable with the process. And they go to a house and she meets a stellar agent that is able to convert her in the moment and now takes her as their own client. So what you want to train people to do is, if they know somebody who's thinking about selling, buying, or investing, that you train them in the moment to send you and trade your contact information and the prospective client's contact information coming to you, so you can be proactive and reach out to that person, versus allowing them to venture off on their own and run the risk of them getting snagged by a really talented agent who knows how to convert people. So teach your clients early on. That's the best way to do a referral, is just to do a group text. Super easy. You got the client's contact information and you go from there. And then you want to say, so let's just say you were talking to the person, they said, actually, I do know somebody. Great. Use the script. Then I will say, you know what, by chance, is there anyone else that you can think of? Because what if there was more than one person? Funny you should say it. When Jennifer's talking about it, Bobby said he was also thinking about it. Awesome. Can you please exchange my information with Bobby and do the introduction so I can reach out to Bobby directly? If you hear of anybody else that's thinking about selling, buying, or investing in real estate, would you be open to connecting me with them via text? That would just be fantastic. I truly appreciate your support as I grow my business. It's that easy. So think about this. If this is what you're doing and this is how you're doing it, this is super powerful. Super, super powerful. Okay, so I'm sorry, here, let me go back. Remember, you're after connecting to your database because it's a 10 to 16% return. So you got 100 people in your database. 10 or 16 people in your database may not be thinking about doing something. However, everybody in your database has a sphere, knows other people. So we're looking to educate them that you're in real estate and that you're looking for their help to grow your business through referrals. So please, 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 if they say yes and it's for them, awesome. If they say yes and it's not for them, it's awesome. If they by chance say no, please do not get frustrated or deflated. Not everybody you talk to knows somebody or is thinking about personally buying, selling, or investing. They're just not. So you know what? I appreciate that you thought about it, right? So if I'm talking to somebody and they say, actually, I'm not, and I don't know anybody right now who's thinking about selling or buying a home. Great. You know what? I appreciate you thinking about it. Can I ask a favor? If you do hear of anyone else looking to sell, buy, or invest in real estate, would you be open to connecting me with them? If you could simply send a quick text. Again, we're looking to teach them how to refer to us. If you could send a text to introduce us, I'll take it from there. And I appreciate your support. You know, I know you mentioned, right, that you're not thinking about selling, buying, or investing in real estate. However, your home is your largest asset. Occasionally, I send out information about real estate. Would it be okay to add you to that list? What are you doing here? You're looking to get another piece of data from them, their email address. You're looking to get permission to engage in more communication with them over the next 12 months because we're looking to build that communication with our database, right? If you get permission from them, you could call them once a quarter, text them once a quarter, email them a newsletter once a month, or keep them updated on what's going on in their neighborhood. There's so many options. It's just nice to ask for permission. Rarely have I ever had anybody say, no, I absolutely do not want to hear from you. And if they did, okay, great. You don't want to hear from me. Next. That's all a no is. A no is getting you to the next yes. So embrace it. You're going to hear no a bit in the beginning. You're going to hear no a bit throughout your career, and it's okay. It is not something to take personally. So we're going to talk about this rejection. Don't take it personally. Just move on. It was a no. Okay, great. I'm going to go find somebody who's a yes. That's it. That's how I want you to think about it. If they already have an agent, fantastic. Listen, I appreciate your loyalty to Susie Smith. I admire the agent for building your relationship. If they're ever not able to help you, I'd be more than happy to help you and offer them a referral fee. So really a kind way, team, if let's just say somebody is working with someone and for whatever reason they can't help them, but they feel really weird about doing this, hey, no problem. I will be happy to send your preferred agent a referral fee for the piece of business you sent my way. Sometimes that puts their mind at ease and will allow them to use you if their preferred client is not available. So rejection, it's not a big deal. It's part of it. Get used to it. You're going to hear it. And just think about a no is only what I heard from the one person. I'm moving on to the next, which is going to be a yes. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do for your homework today. Because starting tomorrow, we're going to get into the actual act of doing lead generation. What I want you to do today is just think about, hey, what's my preferred area in the city or town that I live in that I would also like to sell in? So a lot of us want to sell in the neighborhood that we live in. Some of us, there's a part of town that you really like, and maybe it's an area that you can't quite afford yet, but it really is where you would like to be selling homes and getting buyers into a home. Great. Identify the area or part of town that you would really like to have a presence in. Then review the MLS data for this area for the last 90 days. So again, let's just say it's Harvey Oaks. If Harvey Oaks is where I wanted to be, or Harvey Oaks is where I currently live, and that's where I want my business to be, I want to get familiar with what's going on in Harvey Oaks. Here's the cool thing about MLS. It tells you what's currently available and what has happened in the past. So it'll take you all the way back. So think about this. I'm going to pull up an MLS and do a search. This is where you need your training on MLS. I am going to do a search in MLS for all of the activity that's happened in Harvey Oaks for at least the last 90 days. Looking at what's currently active, meaning available for sale, what's under contract or pending. So what has got a contract working on it right now, what's closed in the last 90 days, and have there been any canceled or withdrawn, expired listings in the last 90 days. And while if it's pending, closed, withdrawn, canceled, or expired, you really can't go into the house. What you can do is look at the pictures on MLS and do your best to gather an idea of what the house would look like if you were walking through it. However, if it's active, you absolutely can go through it. And that's going to be part of what we start doing tomorrow. So just review the MLS data, get familiar with what homes are selling for. Some neighborhoods have 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom. Some neighborhoods go from 1,700 square feet to 5,000 square feet. So just really start looking at it in sections and compartmentalizing and say, hey, in Harvey Oaks, a 3-bedroom typically sells for this. In Harvey Oaks, a 3-bedroom that has not been updated sells for this, updated sells for this. Just start learning about values, because set your intention. If your intention is to sell in a particular area, this is how you learn. And then the other thing, if you live in the area, you most likely know what services are there: grocery, medical, entertainment, schools, etc. If you don't live in the area, it's really a good idea to go drive the neighborhood and see, what schools is it near? Where's the closest grocery? Where's the closest pharmacy, Walgreens, CVS, whatever that is? What are, like movie theater for entertainment, or bowling alley, or whatever that looks like. Start to get familiar with what's in the area that you intend on selling, because that's going to help you in your conversations with both the sellers, that you show what's going on. Hey, it's great that your house is actually just a mile away from the elementary school, or it's 2 miles away from Baylor Hospital, whatever that looks like. You can speak intelligently to the homeowner or buyer. Listen, in this neighborhood, within a mile radius, there's 3 grocery stores, a couple pharmacies, bowling alley, entertainment venues. Again, you start to sound more educated and familiar with the neighborhood than if you were just to randomly pick it and not what's going on. So I want you to, for today, spend some time identifying where you want to be selling, both listings and buyers. Take a moment to review the MLS data. Just pull up in the statuses, pull up the statuses here, add expireds. I'm sorry, it's not on there, add expireds, and just start to gather and learn what's going on. And then lastly, if you don't live in the neighborhood, even if you do live in the neighborhood, look at it through a different lens. What are the services around this neighborhood? Get familiar with it. As always, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly, or you can reach out to your coach. Trust the process. I promise you, if you do what we teach you to do in this program, you will have leads. You will also have a steady book of business. It will not be this up, down, have a client, busy, 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 close the client, nothing. It will be a steady incline in your business, and that's what we're after. So make these commitments, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. Have a great day.